Welcome to One Eye Television. I'm here at Community Media of Staten Island, New York. Here I wanted to bring to you all my great show based around my art and my experience as being an artist. Through my art, I share with you all different techniques and different styles. Hope you all enjoy the show. From the physical eye communicating to the physical hand, I come to realize that creating art on paper with a pencil is a very powerful tool that I have. And today I know that through creating art, I can touch my soul and touch other souls as they watch my hand create this beautiful piece of art. Today I got a topic that I want to discuss that's very deep, very touching, and very inspirational. Before we get into this subject, I wanted to kind of break down to you all what I'm doing in this picture. As you can see, I'm creating what I'm doing. I'm really like grasping the outer shapes in my mind, calculating and communicating through my eye with my hand and the pencil with the paper. We all communicating on one page. As you can see, me using lines and very small sketches to put in not too much detail, but really trying to grasp the idea that I have in my mind, to grasp the concept, to be able to communicate the subject to the paper so I can be able to express to not only myself but also to the world of what this subject that I'm done to discuss. It has to line in. I have to communicate with the art piece as I explain this most inspirational story. Before we get into this story, I would like to thank y'all for watching this powerful piece of art come into existence. True story. Over a decade ago, I was in Atlantic City, where there's casinos, prostitution, drugs, and the lifestyle of the streets, the nightlife. I was there maybe 2 months coming out of Philadelphia. I landed there in Atlantic City. I was on the streets. I was on the streets using drugs, just part of the nightlife. It's something that I always was attracted to. And as I continued to be amongst the people of the nightlife, there was moments in my life that I really wanted to understand what life really meant to me. What did I really want out of life? How could I find a real life, a true life? And in trying to find this true life, I was trying to understand what would it take for me or for something to make a spark of hope in my life. Is where I was able to, I guess, get a jump start to life, where I wanted more out of life. And in this piece of art, as you can see, the form of this art piece is coming to life. And what you are looking at is a hand reaching out to help a hopeless hand that had no guidance, no understanding of life. For weeks at a time, living on Atlantic City streets, I I would sleep on the streets. I would be amongst the casinos, conning people out of money, just doing all types of things to support myself and to survive on the streets of Atlantic City. A lot of con artists, a lot of prostituting, a lot of drug selling, just all types of the lifestyle. And in this moment of my life, I wanted more. This was a moment in my life where I just was tired of the streets and I needed more. But I needed something to spark me, to let me know that there was something more for me out here in this life. And I needed to know that God, the Creator, was in my favor. Because at my moments of this dark moment of my life, I was in a condition where I gave up. I gave up on life, and I wanted more, but I didn't have a blueprint. So one particular night, I was walking the streets, and I don't know how I got to this destination, but I remember just as clear as day that one night I was walking and I seen this church, and it had lights around it, and that was something that I always did when I did decide, when I was roaming the streets and I needed somewhere to sleep. I would find either a synagogue or a mosque or a church to go lay my head, because I always felt as though there was holy ground, and I felt as though the angels and God would watch over me as I slept. This particular night, found this church. I went up on the steps. I was so tired, I fell asleep. The next day, someone tapped me on my shoulder, and all I could remember is I rolled over and I seen this man with a black robe on with some money in his hand. He gave me some money and shut the church door. And all I remember was I looked at the money, it was like $25. Instantly, I jumped up, and all I could think about was getting high. Went to use drugs. Now, mind you, before I fell asleep at the church, I told y'all I needed a spark. I needed something to prove to me that there was hope, that the Creator was in my favor. So I went, got high, ran the streets. By the way, $25 don't get you much, but the point I'm trying to make is, later on that day, I thought of a great idea. Go back to the church. Maybe he'll give you some more money. Went back to the church, went to sleep, woke up the next day. The guy gave me $15 the next day. And I did the same thing. I went, got high, ran the streets. Later on that day, my mind told me, go back to that church. He will give you some more money. I went back to the church, went to sleep. The next day, that same guy gave me $5. Went, I don't know if I got high or nothing, but I know I took that $5, and I knew in the midst of this, I'm missing the point that God is showing me 3 times that he's in my favor. I'm I'm missing it because I'm enslaved by drugs. The next day, I went back to the church. The same guy opened the door. There was no money. The moral of this story is, even though I went and copped drugs those 3 times that he gave me money, in that experience, in that moment, looking at this man, he never said a word to me. In this experience, I come to realize that it was a hand. God was using this man to show me that in your worst condition, I favor you. I love you. You need some help. Find your way. And that was a powerful moment for me. Even though, like I told you, even though I used the money in the wrong way, in the experience, that was the spark. That was the spark that I needed to give me proof. This man didn't know me. He didn't know me. He didn't know my beliefs. He didn't know nothing. That guy, whoever he was the spark that God used to give me hope. He didn't ask me no questions. All he did was open the door. He handed me the money. And in those moments, all I could understand in their moments was he accepted me in my condition. He didn't ask me what you do with the money. He didn't ask me no questions. And that was the spark that helped me. It was like it blew life back into me. And as you can see, creating this art piece, as I come to life, it was that hand that helped me in my lowest points, that gave me the spark, that showed me that God was in my favor. In this message, I wanted to explain to y'all this message because it was an experience that I never told no one this story. Because in me telling the story, it sounded somewhat shameful, embarrassed. But for years, I studied that moment because, like I said, in my lowest condition, I was in my lowest. No hope at all. And I was looking for something to help me, to spark me, to help me understand that God showed me a sign that I got another purpose on this earth than to being out in these streets, running the streets, doing drugs, doing crime, doing the things that I don't really want to do. Help me understand, is this my purpose? What is my purpose? What do you want me to do? Show me, give me a sign. Help me see something. I need proof. And the proof was it was right there. The proof was right amongst me when I didn't even see it. Once I acknowledged the sign of life, I come to realize that there was hope. This hope that I began to experience was a hope that I never felt before, because for many years I struggled in the streets. I struggled with addiction. I struggled with failure. I struggled with giving up. I struggled with all obstacles. And as I continue to look back over my life, every struggle, every failure, every obstacle that I faced, it was those obstacles that had to help me see the favor. Because as I continued to create this art piece, if you look at the details of this art piece, how the hand is grabbing the other hand. See, the hand, at first I thought the hand was that man giving me that money, showing me favor. But it wasn't him. It was the spiritual hand. It was the hand of the Creator that reached out, and it, in my lowest points of life, that helped me see through that man, the God. See, that man displayed the favor of God to me. And so as I continue to sketch this hand, as you can see, the details is getting more detailed as the story goes. As I continue to explain to you all this amazing story, the hands is so powerful. It's just a powerful moment, because like I told you, at the lowest of the lowest, the darkest moments of my life, it was that night that I remember asking the Creator, man, give me a sign, show me something, give me a spark of hope that can help me know that I can come out of this and I can get on a whole nother journey of life. Something that I could, once I come out of this, I can share with the world. That's how powerful this story is. See, that hand that grabbed this other hand is the hand of the Creator, showing me over a decade ago that I'm going to show you favor. I'm going to show you a sign. So one day, mind you, I never told this story. At some points, I was ashamed to tell this story, because how I went back to that church and he kept giving me money, and until he didn't give me no money no more. But in that moment, he was showing me that mercy. The story has so many layers and so many levels to it. It's just hard to grasp. All I can do is tell you from my perception of the story and how I interpret it. I don't know how that man ever gave another person money for sleeping on the church step. I don't know. But I do know my experience of sleeping on that church step, it gave me a spark of hope. It gave me a spark of life. And that's where my journey began to change. My perception began to change. My hope, my understanding of life began to change. My path of life began to branch off and make new paths. I no longer wanted to be a part of that lifestyle. And I remember going to get help. And going to get this help, I left. As we come to the end of this most beautiful, most amazing story, with this most amazing art piece that I'm creating, I want y'all to take a look at this art piece that I'm creating. Look at every detail, every line, every shade, every different tones of this piece. And as you can look at the hand that's holding the other hand, I want you to see how that hand is holding that hand tight. And see, my journey of life has been one of the most graphic, most detailed story that I ever heard or saw. So in me telling this story with this art piece, see, I got to give you every detail, every action, just everything about my story with my art is very detailed, very powerful, very, very, very emotional. And to be able to live it, feel it, understand it, you got to have you got to have the best eyes and the most best heart to feel and understand that the story that I'm telling you through this piece of art was not easy for me to tell. But on my journey telling this amazing story, I cleansed my heart. I cleansed my soul. I know that through this art piece, I free myself from so much of that pain and suffering that I put myself through. And today, I'm able to tell this story to help myself and those who watch this amazing art piece come to life through this video. I appreciate everyone that was able to listen to this amazing video, to see such detailed pencil drawing from a one-eyed artist that tells stories through his art that never been told before. And in this story, I hope that this story touched you to help you understand the ins and outs of someone's life is amazing once you listen to it. You see the human being of that person. You see their soul. You see their heart. You learn to accept that person for who they are. It's something that I learned. See, in this spark that I created, that I experienced that night on them steps at that church, see, I felt love, true love. Not just from that stranger, that man in that black robe. I felt true love from the universe, from the earth, from the Creator. Because see, I remember that night walking I said, God, show me a sign, a favor. Show me that you favor me. And he showed up. He showed up in my worst conditions. So I hope y'all learned something from this amazing art piece that I created. It's a piece that I dedicate to the people out there in that world that's struggling with drug addiction, mental health, and all the little kids that's being misled by this world. As you can see, as I finish off this art piece, I just want to thank everyone who listened and hope you all take this message and spread it through the world. Thanks for watching One Eye Television. My name is Shaheed. Stay tuned for the next episode.